This is it. This is the last Break Red video 4-0 until Legion comes out. And of course, what better way to end it than with a Gold Paladin related video, huh?
Mighty Action Joker!
Doobie doobie dooba. I finally got what I needed from Monarch, and after a lot of trial and error, I'm fairly satisfied with this deck. So let me show you what I got. Before we actually talk about the rest of the cards, I at least want to state that Wingull Liberator's ability gets nerfed on the first. It costs Counterblast 1 now, meaning this will be the only time that I have to use it at its full glory. I'm also assuming that the reason why Wingull got nerfed is because of Legion, and that they're trying to have people start playing with the new cards as opposed to latch on the stuff that's really good in the past. An ever-changing meta, so to speak. Having it cost 1 Counterblast isn't all that bad. It sucks that it costs a Counterblast, but whatever. Moving on to the deck profile itself, we have Physical Force Liberator Zoran, Rearguard Circle. When placed from your deck, put this unit into your soul to look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and call a Liberator card. I was initially going to run 4 of these cards, but instead I changed it to 3, only because they mainly showed up in hand more so than they did from the deck. And the way I went about it is, if I see it in hand, I'll just make it a Vanguard, and if it's from deck, then I'll use it to call the Blaster Blade Liberator and or the Heal Trigger, which in turn calls a Blaster Blade Liberator. This is honestly more of a get Blaster Blade onto the field card, more so than it is anything else, honestly. And running 3 of them is just the right amount, so it's either the starting Vanguard to not get rid of my counter chargers here, or it ends up showing up at the right time for me to get a Blaster Blade or the Heal Trigger out. This is one of the most important grade 1s in this deck, and I was never actually able to talk about it because I never had a Zenith deck made or a Azel Scissors deck made. The guy. White Rain Liberator Paladin, Rearguard Circle. When your Blaster Blade Liberator is placed in the same column as this unit, if your Vanguard is a Liberator, countercharge 1. This is a very important card, and this nets you a lot of your combo stuff for this deck. The most obvious thing you can do is call this, and then call your Blaster Blade Liberator, kill a something on your opponent's side of the field, and then countercharge 1. That's mainly how it would go. However, if you stack it with something like Monarch, you'll be able to use Blaster Blade's ability twice and also use the Monarch ability. I'll explain in more detail when we get to Monarch itself, but I'm telling you, this is your combo extension card, and this can potentially win you games. This deck is actually more so a Blaster Blade Liberator deck as opposed to the Monarch deck, but I've yet to call something Monarch, and it's the last one anyway, so the odds of us using Liberators is gonna be unlikely. So let's stick to what it's supposed to be about. If we draw him in hand and have him as a Vanguard, it's whatever. There's always a workaround towards it, and I'll explain more of that when we get to those cards. 4 PGs, because of course, I didn't think I'd be using my Marins, but for the goal that I have for this deck is be able to hit when I can hit. And having Marin will allow me to deal with any sort of 10k rear guards I gotta deal with, and also be able to apply pressure without dropping too many cards from my hand. I didn't think Marin would actually be a part of this deck, but here we are. And if Marin's Vanguard, it's whatever. I don't lose out on anything. As long as a PG or one of my counter chargers is not the Vanguard, it's fine. Here comes a very strong extension card. Liberator Star Rain Trumpeter. It was also a rank reward, I believe last couple weeks ago, during the first half of the set. Rearguard Circle. When placed, return a Blaster Blade Liberator from your drop zone or soul to your deck to call the top card of your deck to an open Rearguard Circle. The ability cost prioritizes returning from the drop zone. This card is really good for shuffling back your Blaster Blade Liberators, as well as calling something from deck onto the field. If it happens to be a Blaster Blade Liberator on a column that already has your counter charger, you can immediately countercharge and potentially activate the Blaster Blade ability without calling anything but maybe 1 card from hand. The Liberator, Star Rain. Man, I hold on to these. I hold on to these Star Rains until a Blaster Blade is either in my soul or in my drop, because I use it specifically so that I can just drop it, call something from deck, and also put the Blaster Blade Liberator back into the deck. Very rarely do I have to ride this, because in almost every scenario, I either use Wingull Liberator to get the Blaster Blade in my hand, or I just ride a Blaster Blade from my hand, so that when I get to grade 3, I can use the Star Rain, potentially with a column of the countercharger already prepared, and then hope for the best. If it's a Blaster Blade, cool, I use it for free, And if not, then I still get something onto the field. Maybe this guy. I'm not entirely sure, but it does depend. Very rarely would I get a Zordon in this sort of situation to get another card, but for the most part, it's an idea to get a Blaster Blade onto the field or to a unit without having me exert cards from my hand all that much. 4 copies of Blaster Blade Liberator, which you're definitely going to need for Monarch, and especially for Liberators. I think on Liberators in general, you probably want to run 4 Blaster Blade Liberators by default. But that's just my opinion. I also wouldn't know. Initially, I did have 4 of the 12k attackers, but I felt that they weren't needed because if they end up in my hand and I ride them, it's just a 9k vanilla. I didn't want any of that. So we got 3 Felons this time, and I added 2 Ganslots for a universal power. Initially, I did run a Scrad, but that didn't work because I ended up with no counterblast near the end of the game. And I wanted something that would deal good damage universally, as well as I'd not have to worry about using anything to expend. Galatine ended up being the exact card I needed. If I ever have this as the main 10k, then my opponent will either have to have a 12k attacker or something like a Marin, or they'd have to drop a second card. Galatine just ended up working out in the long run. Good old Galatine. Alright, let's talk the poster boy for this deck. Good old Monarch Alfred. This card is very good, and to anyone who's saying, oh, it costs too much, well then, you're just playing the deck wrong then. Liberator Monarch Sanctuary Alfred, limit break 5. When your Blaster Blade Liberator is placed from your deck, this unit gains 10,000 power, as well as a critical until the end of turn. Notice how that does not say once per turn. If you keep calling Blaster Blade Liberators from deck when you're at limit break 5, it just keeps stacking and stacking and stacking. Limit break 4, once a turn. Once a turn. Soul Blast 2 and Counter Blast 3 to put all of your rear guards and lock cards on top of your deck. Look at the top 5 cards from your deck and call 5 Liberator cards. This ability right here is what makes this card. And yeah, sure, you could debate that Counter Blast 3 is a lot, but if you're playing the game right, you'll be able to do this clean and still use Blaster Blade's ability twice. Dude, with the countercharger set, if you literally just have Blaster Blades in your hand, you can call Blaster Blade to a column, Blaster Blade to a column with the 2 counterchargers, boom, 5 is unlocked. 5 is unlocked right there. Actually, not even that. You can still use one ability, have 3 counterblasts left, use the Monarch ability, put everything back into the deck, and look, if you have the Zenith heal in your hand, you can put that back as well, but I'll explain that specific ability and why you would probably want to do that when I get to Zenith. But straight up, you can just call, kill, return, call again, and kill. Monarch can be played incredibly if you know how to go about it. I did something like this once on camera, and then I did something like this twice off camera where Monarch ended up having 4 crits. And in case you haven't known, throughout this video I've been showing little test preview footage so that you have an understanding of what I'm trying to express to you. It sucks that that 4 crit situation was not on camera, but what can you do? Monarch, if played correctly, can be devastating, and you won't even care that it costs 3 counterblasts because you'll still be able to use Blaster Blade ability twice and Monarch ability with no issue. Also, it's crit because I have way more solid results when I'm using crits. Very rarely do I make decks all draws or all crits or anything. I mostly have more consistent results when I have crits somewhere, but that depends. That depends on the deck. And considering the fact that Monarch is making crits themselves, it actually makes sense that Monarch's a crit, because if Monarch doesn't use itself as the crit when doing drive checks, then it'll make up for it by itself. Zenith. Zenith has to be your heal trigger. I don't think there's any other card that could best suit your heal trigger, but that has to depend on the deck you run. This is just me talking for me. Liberator of Bonds, Gancelot, Zenith. Limit break 4. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, counterblast 1, and put a rear guard on the bottom of your deck to call the top card of your deck. That unit gains plus 10k until the end of turn. It's somewhat similar to Garmor Liberator's ability, only that when you put something back to the bottom of the deck, you can actually call something out of it, and depending on what's called, whether it's another Zenith, or it's the Zoron, or your Blaster Blade Liberator that you want, you're either going to A, keep the card as it is, specifically to have another attacker go in, or B, put it back to get the Blaster Blade, but that depends on your situation. I had a scenario where I called the Gancelot Zenith, but because I knew my opponent wasn't going to have another perfect guard or a heal, I decided to keep it as opposed to add a Blast Blade Liberator because I wouldn't have enough power to actually attack. And with the Zenith ability, you'll be able to just attack with a grade 3, and then if you're lucky, get it replaced with a grade 2, so that even if you don't end the game that turn, you'll still have 2 intercepts in the front row. But the follow-up ability, secondary ability, which I probably should have explained before going too much into it. When placed from deck, return this unit into your deck to call Blast Blade Liberator from your deck. If your deck has no Blast Blade Liberator, call from Drop Zone. This card is another means of you just putting Blast Blade Liberator onto the field, as well as a way to reshuffle heals into your deck. And now, normally, reshuffling heals into your deck would prolong the game, but depending on how you're playing with your deck, it's either going to be big brain or very, very, very annoying. Chariot. I think using Zenith is big brain. It's literally just if you call this from deck on top of a countercharger and then you put it back to replace its position, then boom, you get a countercharge and a Blast Blade for free, as well as having your heal back in the deck. Then when you stack it with Monarch, you'll put it back, call it again. Let's say you already have the 2 Blast Blade Liberators on field with both of the counterchargers, and you're putting back a Zenith. When you call it again, that's another Blast Blade Liberator, which means you can do another counter charge, which means if this once per turn ability did not exist, you could potentially have a Monarch Alfred with 7 crit, 7 or 6-ish crit. So them adding this was correct immediately, because they knew that there is a way to play this card correctly, and people are staring at this little counterblast plus 3, but they ain't seeing the big picture. They can just keep it going if it wasn't once a turn. Very good, very good. It's not hard to get 2 Soul Blast. It's not hard. When you're running Break Rides and you're running Zoran, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard. It is not hard to have so many free Counterblast available. Zenith is good too. Oh yeah, it's also a cross ride of other Gancelot, so it'll be at 13k if base Gancelot is in the Soul. Zenith is good. Monarch is great. Actually no, Zenith is also great. I just barely use it as a grade 3 Vanguard because I ideally want Monarch in play. If not, then yeah, I'll use Zenith. But ideally, I want Monarch. Wolfang Liberator we've talked about, and Base Gancelot we've talked about. Base Gancelot specifically will help you get Blast Blade Liberator. I mean, yeah, you get the 10k bonus and the 5k bonus. Ideally, though, one way or another, you're getting that Blast Blade. Whether it's in your hand, on the field, or any other means, you'll always end up with that Blast Blade Liberator somehow. I like this deck. It's shown me a lot of very good results, and most of the time that I lost, it was because I'm an idiot. So hopefully, on camera, I can show you how good the deck be. And if I get destroyed, then whatever. Whatever. I've done other matches with a deck similar to this. Hopefully it'll be enough to go, yeah, I can see it. Which is all I'm trying to go for. Oh, Gold Ren. It usually doesn't mean anything. They probably just want to use the Ren. This is not bad. We can keep this for the next turn so that when I ride Monarch, which I honestly would rather have the base Gancelot. But whatever. We'll keep it like this. Okay, cool. I can ride Gancelot and be fine. If I get Countercharger, I usually hold out. I usually hold out, play the situation so that if Blast Blade Liberator ends up in Vanguard Soul or drop, then I call this and the Soul Charger just to bank. Okay, cool. This actually works out way more than I thought it would. I can actually call one Blast Blade Liberator just to set the field straight. We're not going to use Wingle Liberator ability. They lost a Countercharger, so that's cool. Star Rain, that's bad. That's bad that they rode it. Bad long run play. Okay. I'll be at 2. I can kill the Wingle Liberator if they don't use it. And if they do, then they do. Because of course they would. Wingle Liberator ability? Yeah, of course. So I'm going to use Blast Blade Liberator ability to kill the grade 2. Ride Gallatin. And then next turn, I know that they're going to have either the Countercharger killed or Blast Blade Liberator. No matter what, I'm going to have a scenario played out where if this survives, then I just call Star Rain right here. And if this dies, then I'll just do exactly what I was going to do and save my hand. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. Please don't trigger. If that was a crit right there, I actually have no reason to use this. If they kill it, then okay. I also run crits because if for whatever reason that worked out in my favor, they'd be riding Gancelot right here with already 4 damage. Yeah. They normally would kill the counter charger here. Yep. Yeah, because of course he would. Of course they would. I mean, why wouldn't they? Why would they not? Now from here, what I do is call counter charger, use Star Rain. Depending on what I get, that's what I adapt to. Heal. Don't think I don't know what I'm doing. Don't think I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, it sucks we gotta ride Monarch, but whatever. Now, what do we get? We play the lots. Let's see, what are we dealing with? We use that to okay. We're going to actually use Alfred's ability. No, Wingull Liberator's ability. So we're first going to do this. I want to attack with the Vanguard now, because I want to bank on either another heal, or I want to bank on the Wingull Liberator activating. If they get a trigger, I just kill Gancelot. Okay. Then I'll push him at 5. Next turn, they're probably going to put me at 5 anyway, so I gotta use what I can. They can kill counter charger next turn, but I got 2 Blaster Blade Liberators. So I guess it depends on what I get. Okay. Zenith, and I kept their Gancelot, which means that they can just attack the Star Rain, put it back with a column here, bank on probability. I don't die this turn. I don't die this turn. They're probably killing counter charger. Yep. Yeah, they're holding on, which means they're going to put back the Gancelot. Because of course they are. Odds are I'll get a trigger. If they leave me at 4, that's going to be mean. Oh, that's a very good card to get in this scenario. They're going to try and go for game here because of course. Okay. Hit me. Come on, hit me. Do it. Hit me. Hit me. There we go. There we go. Then they killed the... Okay. Alright, this could work out for a plethora of reasons. So first we're going to use BBL. Kill this. We'll call a second BBL, not use the ability, then use Monarch. If I end up getting 2 counter charges in the process, nice. If not, I at least need some grade 1s. This is where we immediately go, alright, let's see how this plays out. If I end up getting a heal, that's also nice, because that's another crit. I just gotta... Ooh, wow, that's terrible. That's very bad. That's terrible. Huh. This has never happened. Something like this has not happened. Huh. We're doing this then. Actually, no. The result actually doesn't matter. I just need a trigger. So we're gonna do this. They'll activate their 1 PG. If they have a second, I might lose, but let's see how this plays out. But look, 4 crit right here. This is not the way I usually have the 4 crit, but okay, sure, 5 crit. Sure. I mean, if they don't have another PG, then GG's, I guess. But odds are they do. I guess not. Can I take the easy win, please? Yeah. Yeah, that went how I thought it would. That was not expected. That was weird. That was very weird. That was very weird. But I'm telling you, card's good. Monarch be good. If I get another win, I don't care how short the video may appear to be, because I'm going to call it there. Very rarely do I get the results that I want in these deck profiles. Ooh, a Kagero that's not Shadow Kagero this time. Interesting. Interesting. This is not bad. We're going to put the heal back because I don't want heals in my hand. We have another Monarch situation, which could be worse. We'll keep the 12k in case I want to push. This is not ideal, so we're not going to keep the 12k. Yeah, there we go. Okay. See, look. This usually shows up in my hand as a Vanguard more so than its intended ability. I can't believe Conroe is still being used to this day. That just means how great that card is. It's literally just a free PG. Which makes sense. Which makes sense that people still use it. I'm gonna get Blasted Blade Liberator right now. It's gonna suck because I wouldn't be able to do that with post Nerf Wingull Liberator. I would have to wait until I get hit for this. I don't know what I would be replacing this card with, but I'll deal with that when they add more gold stuff. Ugh. Yeah, 10k, doesn't attack but crit when grade 3 rides. That's how it'd be. By this point, they usually call a grade 2 of some nature to deal damage. They very rarely end it there. Yeah, okay. Bellicosity? Yeah, that will do it. That would usually do it. Better a wasted crit than a wasted draw, because I don't want too much in my hand. Sure. We are going to actually call the Fallon. We're going to call the Fallon and hold on to what I got. I kind of want to bait them to use their resources, so I'm also going to call the Countercharger. Because they see a Countercharger and then they want it dead. Though if they were paying attention, they'll probably go, so why didn't he use the Blaster Blade? But then they'll go, alright, they didn't have 2 Counterblasts, so it makes sense that they just had the booster. And then maybe they'll also think that I run Stance. Also, since I got the draw, I don't overdraw, and everything in my hand's fine. And I normally hold on to this Wingull, no, I usually hold on to the Garmor Liberator as a last resort when I don't want stuff dead on my field. Call a booster. This is base, oh, that's base Overlord. Very weird. Why are they calling PG? What? What? What is in their hand? What is in their hand? I gotta sit up for this. What? I almost don't want to use Blaster Blade ability here. Sweet. This column, I'm gonna let them keep. What happens if I push here? What happens if I push here? What happens if I push here? I can afford to kill a Blaster Blade because I always get one back. Let's actually kill this because that the 6k booster might not help them out in the long run. And from here, I'm going to keep the other grade 3s for 2 reasons. One, depending on how much damage I'm at next turn, that's what I ride. And 2, if I get a heal, then I don't have to worry about it because next attack is going to be Vanguard. Okay, no trigger this time. But I was ready. Heal though. See, if I had a bunch of other attacks, I would fail. I would fail that exchange. Draw trigger. It's not the Break Ride Overlord, which means I don't have too much to be concerned about. I don't know what this card do. It's a type of Break Ride. And grade 4, which I'm not surprised about. But I'm not too concerned, only because I have 2 PGs. So even though triggers won't be as effective, I'm still prepped for it. I'm still prepped for this scenario. If I get a trigger... Nope, okay, they hit me again. I get Blaster Blade back, though. I can actually push here. I'm gonna ride Wingull specifically... Not Wingull, I keep saying that. I'm gonna ride Garmor to set the field. And then I'll call Star Rain to put my... to put a Blaster Blade back. And then maybe get the heal. But let's see. Let's see how this plays out. Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm gonna call the other Countercharger. Yeah. Yes. We kill. I want all my attacks to go in, so let's do that. Don't think I don't know what I'm doing. No trigger as well. I mean, of course they're gonna have a perfect guard. We're not gonna put anything back. It sucks that I gotta heal, but whatever. Whatever. I mean, this is a good position. And if they don't happen to have a PG, I mean, of course they do, but that's their last PG, right? Yep, that's their last PG. They gotta bank on heals. And I don't die next turn, because not only do they have to kill me manually with power cards, I got 2 PGs in hand. And I ride Monarchs so that... Oh wait, and I got Zoran too? I think that's game. This is game. It's game. It's game! Unless they double heal right now, which would suck. Even if they hit me twice right here, I don't die. I don't die here. I do not die here. Oh, it's gonna be good. That's a good draw, but they don't get another PG out of it, so I'm not too concerned. I got 2 PGs here. Yeah, I'm fairly certain I can call final after this. Okay. How many more BBLs? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I still got some Liberators. I think this is game. I can actually call final here. I can actually call final right here. I can call final right here. We're gonna do this. Let's actually kill the Overlord now. No, we'll kill this. It makes more sense. Unless they countercharge twice and they don't have any PG. So if they double heal, I'll be very upset. I'll be very upset if they double heal. Very upset. Once a turn, my guy. Once a turn. Boom, 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 boom. I don't mind countercharging again if I end up with Zenith or something. Let's see what we end up with. Hey! And then, look at that. It's another crit. I know there's 1 BBL left. No, we're not. I can still use Star Rain ability. That's weird. Because there was an open rear guard now. That's weird. Very weird. Look at what I'm dealing with. Look at this, guys. It doesn't end. I'm going to use Star Rain ability now. Because it could be a grade 1. What can I say? What can I say? What can I say? What can I say? Oh, I'm ending it. Dude. Dude, you cannot. What else can I say, dude? Dude. I think this is actually a really good way to end it. I think this is a perfect way to end it. With that being said, I'm going to stream Legion probably May 1st, maybe 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What I'm actually going to do about that is we'll stream the pack openings on YouTube, and then we'll do the fights on Twitch. So do all the things, yeah? I hope you enjoyed. That was the most big brain thing I've done on camera in a bit. Thank you for watching. I'll be seeing you in Legion.